What if I told you that even ordinary people can be on top of the world?
The first attempt on the North Pole by a team of women gets underway today.
The epic adventure will take them over 1,000 kilometers of hazardous sea ice.
It's thousands of miles of ice and nobody.
And so I found myself walking into this water and then sinking up to my neck.
I honestly thought I was going to die in the Arctic.
The all-new 30 for 30 podcast. Subscribe now on the ESPN app or Apple Podcasts.
30 for 30 podcast is presented by Mini. We're finding the best sports stories for you right now. And to do that, we're behind the wheel of the new Mini Countryman, the biggest Mini yet.
Please proceed to the highlighted route.
To find great sports stories, you have to get out into the world and follow your instincts. That's where the new Mini Countryman's all-wheel drive comes in handy. With all four, we can chase down a story in the city, the country, and most places in between. No matter what story you're chasing, the new Mini Countryman will help you find it. It's available now, and so are 30 for 30 podcasts.
And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head to death. Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood.
Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Now give me your boom.
He is Jalen Rose.
What up, Doe?
I'm David Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in, center stage on the mic.
We are Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio and on the podcast and on ESPN2 and on ESPN News and on social media. What do we do?
We get to find individuals that have consistently supported our movement via podcast, radio, or television, 2 a.m. or 2 p.m., exactly what they want, when they want, more importantly, when they need it.
Shout out.
And also, I have to say this.
Oh, no. I know you so well. Darrelle Revis is here. Yes. Darrelle Revis was a star cornerback in the NFL.
And then he went to the Patriots, won a ring. And like most players, when they leave the Patriots, they get the money, but you don't hear from their game again.
Well, this is Darrelle Revis. That's a nickname that we have for Jalen. We just told him about it recently, but it's been his nickname for a while, where no matter what we plan on talking about, no matter what's on the rundown, Darrelle Revis just comes in and just kicks us out the driver's seat and just takes the wheel, and it always goes somewhere terrible.
And so, I'm really competitive.
Okay.
I know you and Harlan Endelman saw the text that I sent you guys over the weekend where it had a list of podcast rankings.
I saw that it was just you being like salty and sensitive, so I just didn't even click on it. Let me look at it now.
And so I want you, as the versatile performer you are in this industry for 20 years, to kind of explain to people first and foremost, one, that we feel like competition is none regardless of rankings.
Yes.
Because we do what we do. And we feel like we sound, the way we look, what we do on this program is like no other. We applaud, support, and root for so many other people in this industry that we know it's not just about us.
There's a butt coming.
However, there are a lot of Mr. Me Too's.
You love this.
And so
let me tell you about that ranking that you sent.
Talk to me.
Let me tell you something. It's meaningless, Jalen. It's absolutely meaningless. It's based on an algorithm that Apple made up that supports new podcasts. If we started a new podcast every day to spell Jalen wrong, to spell Jalen differently every day for Jalen and Jacoby and made people subscribe to it, we'd be number one every single day. Another thing you can do is you can game it just by having people review your podcast.
Oh, like an Uber driver?
Yeah, so it doesn't matter how many people listen or how much they enjoy it. It matters how much they interact with the Apple product, because interacting with the Apple product is good for Apple, which makes you good in the Apple charts. Trust me, I used to be obsessed with these frivolous, meaningless things, but you just got to move on, man.
But I want to shout out Through the Wire, though. Keep doing your thing.
Shout out.
We say that we give the people what they want on this podcast. And one of the ways that we give the people what they want is we open up our voicemail box and our Twitter feed. And certain days we don't have radio shows like today, but we do have a television show. We're not just going to give you some repurposed television content and act like that's a real pod. We're going to give the people what they want. Let's listen to our first voicemail. If you call 985-80-JALEN, you can leave us a voicemail. We'll play on the show just like this.
Very important question. This is Lance Johnson from Austin, Texas. Shout out to my wife, Clarissa. These guys, NBA and NFL, they always have headphones on, the wireless headphones, Bluetooth. while they're warming up and getting ready for the game. Odell Beckham, known for it, catching one-handed balls, got the beats on. NBA players, you know, LeBron and all them, they same thing. Where are their cell phones at? Is it clanking around in their pocket while they're getting ready for the game? I can't see that happening. Let's get some clarification. Whatever, Edge, because I got to say that.
It's a great question. It's a great question.
To get right
Lance.
to the answer, players nowadays wear so much compression.
Yeah,
there's
that's what I was thinking
one
too.
place to easily store the phone. You can also use a Velcro holder to hold and place the phone. As he mentioned, because the headphones are wireless, it gives you that flexibility.
I don't think you can just put it on the bench, just leave the phone on the bench and then warm up and then still get the connectivity that you need.
And everybody has their own theory behind how and when phones should be placed or used. They do have a really good radius, number one. For me, however, in basketball in particular, 90 minutes before the game, I don't want to see your phone.
And can I talk about something that I saw over the weekend?
People don't communicate with each other enough anymore.
Do you know what I saw over the weekend? I saw there's a lot of pickup games that feature NBA basketball players, star players, Dwayne Wade, Jimmy Butler, Joakim Noah, Taj Gibson, just having we all used to play on the Bulls. Let's get together and complain about the Bulls pickup run. So they were complaining about the Bulls in between pickup games. Taj Gibson did something during the game which is always bothered me. Got his headphones in during the game. Headphones in during the pickup game. I don't care. Look, I understand you're not making a dime. I understand you're just going to get a sweat. But what could you possibly be listening to that's going to make this experience a better experience?
Also, more importantly, and I agree with you.
We
Thank
all
you for
know
pointing
this
that
guy
out.
that does this.
It's because people don't communicate the way they used to. Instead of me talking to the person in front of me, communicating with my teammate, and actually being physically and emotionally invested in the game, I'm listening to my tunes. This is why when I'm at a basketball game, I've talked about this for years, and you call me Old Man Jalen.
Oh, no,
I
don't
hate
do this thing.
while the game is happening, music is physically being played.
Oh,
it's the exact same thing.
Players. Poor basketball players. You get distracted, little NBA player.
I'm just
you okay?
saying. Oh, you don't
Does
say
it
that.
bother you? Does that bother you?
Do you listen to noise when you're golfing?
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Nature sounds, birds
Okay.
chirping.
Okay.
The sound of the chloroform
All right.
being given off by the plants.
Okay. My point exactly.
I love it. Taj Gibson, if that wasn't you, I apologize, but I think it was you.
That's your
shout
guy.
to Fort Greene. Shout to Mobadanga.
Shout out.
Shout to Ralph. Shout to Lucian. Let's listen to another voicemail.
Yo, Jalen, Jacoby, Reg in the back. Got a question. Boss move, soft move. Wearing a whole bunch of accessories when you go play pickup. Because I see people at the gym, shooter sleeves, double shooter sleeves. What's going on with that? Just to let you know, I'm actually on the clock right now at a medicinal service. So, getting them checked while I'm on the phone. Listen to your podcast every day. Keep getting them checked, guys. Let me know. Later.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate the love.
Shout out.
We support each of our podcast listeners and support us equally. Especially the ones that think we're funny, and usually they have medicinal purposes surrounding them.
And also, we always support listeners that get paid to listen to our
No
show.
doubt.
If you're at work, you can still be semi-productive while you're listening to Jalen and Jacoby.
And the other thing is, it's a soft move to wear multiple accessories when you're going to play pickup ball.
You don't need them. You don't need them. You don't need them.
Knee braces, pads on your calf, elbow sleeves.
Whenever I see this person, I always wonder to myself, how long did all that stuff take to put on? Like, how long? It would take me probably legit 2.5 minutes to put on compression
Full
tights.
team uniform.
It would take me a long time to put on compression tights. And I'd be pulling at them the whole time. I'm never wearing those in my entire life.
Now I wear some compression tights.
I'm not doing that.
It's good for this tendonitis on my right knee.
I've got tendonitis in my knees too. I just can't bring myself to do this. I cannot bring myself to do this. Working the hot yoga game though.
Good
Check
for
me
you.
out.
Proud
Check
of
me
you.
out. 6:30 class every morning.
Shout out.
Next question we have is from Twitter. Self-warming toilet seats. Bots move or soft move?
I'm from the Midwest. Soft move.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I've never like really owned one of these, but I've always been happily surprised by them.
I want to say this respectfully because I love my mom dearly. There was a period in my life where we didn't have heat. We used kerosene heaters. I'd much rather the house be warm that'll make the toilet warm.
There you go.
Just having a warm toilet doesn't mean anything. And oh, by the way, plus it's like when you go to the bathroom at a public school or a public restaurant or at the airport, if you want it to be warm, just put a little tissue on top of it.
I have
folded over once or
in
twice.
My house. My wife has bought and installed something called a tushy. Everyone should just Google that. It's an amazing experience.
What about a bidet?
That's what it is, basically. It's a bidet.
Have you ever used it?
Yeah, I enjoy it.
Soft move.
Clean. I'm clean.
Soft move.
Clean move.
Soft move.
Clean move.
Soft move.
I enjoyed it.
Homeowner, never used it. I walked past it, never used it.
Next question we have this is from Big Crown. Big Crown's our guy. You know, he supports us every day. But like he won't even let you live a week with all your Lions enthusiasm before just trying to ask a question like this.
Uh-oh.
Who would have had a better career if they didn't retire early, Barry Sanders or Calvin Johnson? They both had great careers.
Yeah. And they both uniquely retired when they still had some left.
I feel like Calvin Johnson because that position you can play longer.
I feel like Barry Sanders because he would have put up the high score for the rushing record and nobody, including Emmitt Smith, would have been able to take down.
Next is this from Bronx Born and Raised. Did Jalen ever participate in the type of off-season workouts we are seeing online right now?
Of course.
Not.
UCLA Men's Gym, St. Cecilia Summer League. I got a few Summer League championships.
But you didn't go into Versa Climber. You know what I mean? You weren't on the working the core strength like LeBron with the shirt off listening to T Grizzly.
I always say this. Players from my era and older than me worked out.
Yeah, you worked out.
These guys trained.
Yeah, it's very different. No two-a-days. Would you work out 3 times in a day?
No.
Yeah, that's not happening. If you worked out, you check the box.
Oh, you know what? Actually, I have worked out 3 times a day. Multiple times. 12-ounce curls.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Get those in. This is a picture that was sent to us by Gidbot. And it is a picture of this lobster that's been making the rounds. It's a translucent lobster. It's basically a ghost lobster, a see-through lobster. Now, you were looking at the picture. Would you eat that lobster?
I'm good. It looked more like something that should be immortalized, not eaten.
Oh.
Like
really?
This
every
is
time we bring up a special lobster, you say put it on the grill.
Yeah, this is greatness.
That looks like stomach problems. I don't know. Whatever turned that lobster
when you
that
guys
color,
see
I don't
this,
want
y'all
to
see a translucent lobster. When I see this, I'm like, you need a statue.
Need a statue?
No doubt about it.
How come Lobster Statue doesn't tweet us anymore? I miss that guy. Let's listen to another voicemail.
All right. Jalen and Jacoby, you know who it is, man. Your boy Briere calling in from Chicago. What up, though? I had a few quick questions. Jalen, we know you're a Die Easy fan, man. We know that you are the head of the minivan mafia. But if, like, Range Rover came to you like, hey, we like what you do on Jalen and Jacoby because obviously it's the best sports show ever created. And we want you to be the face of our new luxury family car. Would you die easy on the minivan mafia and get like a range truck if they were giving them out? Jalen, I just don't even know, man. The hairline's immaculate, but what about the Philly look? All these bald men with extraordinary beards. Obviously, you can't grow the beard, but just give me some thoughts, man. Give the people what they want. Thank you. I listen every day.
Thank you for the love. We have an expert on this program about 2 of the things you mentioned, but I wanted to make sure that he was addressing the right person for his question.
Yeah, he did say that you drove a minivan.
He said, I drove a minivan.
And you're a Die Easy
and
fan.
I'm Die Easy.
So he was calling into the show. Jalen Jacoby made the mistake. We make mistakes on this show every single day.
But what happens when you make a mistake? People
get called out for it.
No question. So since we appreciate the support, I have to answer his question
How
before
about you
the
take the
expert
hairline question, and I'll take the minivan question.
Correct. And so I've never had a minivan, and I'm not Die Easy. With that being said, the men that you see that are bald need to be. You don't wake up in the morning and be like, you know what, I'm tired of my hair.
I'm going to take the Bic. I'm going to take the Bic out.
When guys start to see some slippage, That's when they go bald. There are people that hang on
they
longer.
They hold on.
It's Clyde Drexler. It's LeBron James.
You hold on.
Manu Ginobili.
Yeah.
It's some guys that, hold on to your love.
I kind of like that look, too.
I can't grow a beard, as he mentioned. And so, therefore, bald with beard, that'll never be my look.
If you're giving me a free Range Rover, I'm out on the minivan mafia. A free Range Rover. But here's the thing is, one of the things that they need to understand over at Range Rover is I've got 3 kids under 5 years old. That means 3 car seats. That means I need the minivan space. I need that second line of seats. You don't have that Range Rover. He did mention that they're coming out with a new family line. That's fine. Perhaps it has that, but that's basically a minivan. In order to get my family from A to B, it has to be a minivan. I am taking a hard look at the Transit, though. Have you seen those?
You can
the
look
Mercedes-Benz Transit looks like a bus.
What about the Infiniti? They have a nice one.
They don't have that second line of seats. Can't put 3 car seats in there, Jay.
Got 2 seats.
They can't put the 3 car seats in there, man.
You the expert.
I know. I'm trying to tell you. But listen, Minivan Mafia, I am your capo. I would never leave you unless someone wants to give me a free car. Let's listen to another voicemail.
Jalen, Jacoby. My name is Chad from Huntington Beach, California. I've been a fan of the podcast since it was the Jalen Rose Report when I was in college. I have a question about do-rags. I was just in Vegas for my future brother-in-law's bachelor party. To all the guys who were there, shout out. Now, we were getting ready for the club, and my future brother-in-law, Tony, was wearing a do-rag. I'd never seen him in a do-rag before. Kind of great. But it seemed to me that he was only wearing the do-rag for 15 to 20 minutes, tops, before he then took it off, and we proceeded to the club. Now, my question is, how long does it take for a do-rag to do its thing? Thanks, guys. Don't get fired. Jalen, real close to watching Power right now. Shout out. All right, I'm out.
Let me start with this. You're the do-rag, not even specialist. You're a do-rag novice, but I know nothing about do-rags. But I do have a college roommate named Mike. Mike, and I tell you, I know exactly what happened here because Mike did the same thing. When you first get out of the shower, you apply the do-rag to keep the hair, to train the hair to go down. I learned this from him. I didn't know how this works. But that 15-minute window, I promise you, was a post-shower window.
Correct. And as you mentioned, I'm clearly no expert because I've only worn one on and off the last 6 months.
People with lesser waves than you are so mad at you. Something's just come easy to Jalen Rose. Jump shots, waves.
And so Reggie and I literally just had this conversation today. Can't make this up. He bought me a new brush.
What is that?
He brought me some Jamaican black castor oil.
Ooh.
And he specifically gave me the instructions. Take you a shower, shampoo it, do what you do.
Shampoo? You use shampoo?
He just said do what you do in the shower.
You don't use shampoo, right?
He just said do what you do. Shampoo, conditioner, do what you do. Yes, I do actually.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I get dandruff.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't use shampoo.
Hey, anybody listen to this program, when you brush your hair, those things that are falling out of the brush and coming out of your hair, that's called dandruff.
I don't brush my hair either.
Okay, there you go.
There you go.
And so, because of that, just like women train their hair, but we're used to them doing it. They may do it with a towel. You may see them using a hair dryer.
Yeah, sometimes my wife takes showers for 20 minutes. Like, I brush my hair. Like, oh, okay.
Yes.
I don't know what that means, but sure.
And so, yes, right after the shower, you do it to lay it down for 20 minutes, and that's it. Try not to get lines on your forehead.
Yeah. Do you think Chad's skin looks a little bit more like mine or yours?
Yours.
I think so, too. Shout out to Chad. Great call. Chad, you know what? When he said that I was back in college, like our show's been doing this. We've been doing this for so long. People are in college, graduated college, got jobs by now.
And also,
still giving the people what they want.
Don't sleep on him saying future brother-in-law. You're going to learn a lot about that family you didn't know.
Yeah, you will. You will. I'm sure you learned a lot at the bachelor party in Vegas, too.
Congratulations.
Let's listen to one more voicemail.
What's up, Jalen? What's up, Jacoby? This is Carlton calling from Hilo, Hawaii, originally from Philly. I got a question for Jacoby. I mean, Jalen, his cultural cred is good, and obviously his sports cred are good. And Jacoby's cultural credit is kind of suspect, but his sports credit is good. So I'm worrying about your culture, Jacoby. When you buy French fries, you eat your French fries. Do you dip or do you put ketchup on top? I personally put ketchup on top because you can get the salt to stick. But I'm just wondering, who you rolling with? On top or dip? This is important business. Holla at your boy. What up, though?
Thank you for the call, Carlton. Here's what I like to do with my fries, and I'm not an on top dude. I'm gonna make a pool of ketchup adjacent to the pile of French fries. So some French fries will be there'll be three French fries. The last ones I eat, they will be completely submerged in ketchup. But I'm worried about my fingers. I don't want to touch too much ketchup throughout this process. And this is one thing that it's gonna blow your mind, Carlton. My preferred method: add a little mayonnaise to the ketchup. That's preferred. Usually that's not an option, and I won't really stress out too much. I won't go back to the counter and ask for mayo or whatever. But my preferred is a pile of French fries with an adjacent pool of ketchup and an adjacent pool of mayonnaise.
So we see eye to eye on that, the way to perform. I agree with you.
I'll use a fork, too. I'll use a fork.
I do the exact same thing, except you call it ketchup, and I call it ketchup.
May I have some ketchup? That's what
Yours sounds like CATCH.
Yes, that's how I say it. Yes.
It's ketchup.
Yeah, I know. I say ambulance, too.
There were a time in my life when I would go to Coney Island, buy some fries, pour them in the bag, and drown them with ketchup. But I agree with you. I like to dip. Baby, dip.
Dip set.
Dip.
Dip
baby,
set.
Dip. To the left. To the left.
Slide. Slide.
Okay, keep your eyes closed.
Okay.
I want to show you my first ever painting.
All right.
Okay. Open your eyes.
Oh, that's a lot of colors and shades.
So be honest. What do you think?
Well, I like how if you switch to Geico, you could save hundreds of dollars on car insurance.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Here, why don't I hold your paintbrush while you call them?
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
We are going to go through every single game from Sunday in 10 minutes. Are you ready?
Let's get it.
10 minutes on the clock. Let's go. First game, big game that underwhelmed everybody that watched it. Can this Seahawks terrible offensive line kill their Super Bowl dreams?
Possibly. Russell Wilson, over 45% of the time he dropped back, he was under duress.
Yep.
That's no way to make a living, especially for a mobile quarterback. Eddie Lacy was a non-factor versus his former team. This Seattle team failed to score an offensive touchdown.
Eddie Lacy needs to get fat again. That's what it is. The skinny Eddie Lacy didn't work. Like he looked terrible. Everything about this offensive unit looked discombobulated and out of sorts. And the Packers didn't play that well either.
They didn't. But again, Aaron Rodgers, a key play, intelligence, the ability to be flexible. I wonder why teams don't do this more often. Again, the king at getting a free play, whether it's with a hard snap count, whether it's with doing a shorter huddle to the line of scrimmage, seeing defenders run on and off, snap the football before you know it. Jordy Nelson's running down the field. Bobby Wagner's looking at the back of his jersey, and he slides right in like he's still in second base.
Yeah. Next game that we all had circled as one of the big games from the weekend that was also underwhelming. This is the Giants and the Cowboys. Everyone's talking about Odell Beckham Jr. was missing, and that's why the Giants underperformed. Is it bigger than that, though?
It's part of it, but it's not the entire story. It's the headline, no question about it, because whether it's fantasy football, I'm pretty sure he went in the top 4 of everybody's draft. Whether it's real football, somebody that's put up the kind of numbers only Randy Moss put up in his first couple of years, you need that playmaker out there. But you still need Eli to be upright. And watching Seattle and watching the Giants made me wonder, 2 quarterbacks that have won franchises for those teams, yet their offensive lines
won Super Bowls
are in
for their
shambles.
Yep. Protect these guys.
Protect these guys. You would think it's the other way around. And so for Eli, they don't have a consistent running game. Brandon Marshall looked like he lost a step. Sterling Shepard was able to get a couple of things underneath, but nothing spectacular. So the Giants were underwhelming, and they put their defense in bad situations the entire game.
How is it that the Bengals did not score a single point against the Ravens?
When you talk about a 53-man roster over the last couple of years, people always mention the Cincinnati Bengals having one of the top ones. Yes, they were playing without Burfict, and they were playing without Pac-Man Jones on the defensive side of the football. But when you have Andy Dalton, A.J. Green, bring in Joe Mixon, you can't be getting shut out.
You can't get shut out.
At
Get a
home
field goal.
in the opener.
Get something.
Yes, no question about it.
What do you think about the fans booing Dalton at the end of the game? Justified?
Well, you pay your money. You can boo the players when they don't perform. I
you gotta
understand
get a bucket. Get a bucket. Get a field goal. Get a touchdown. Get something. You don't get booed.
But the opposite has happened in this case that you don't see in Seattle and with the Giants. The Ravens also have a Super Bowl winning quarterback that they provide balance on the offensive line to protect him, a stout defense led by T. Sizzle on the other side of the football. So now he can draw back. Oh, there's Jeremy Maclin. He's open. I'm going to throw it to him for a long touchdown pass. So he's able to not have to throw the ball 55 times in order for them to be successful.
Should the Steelers be concerned about barely beating the Browns?
I don't think they should be concerned because of the fact that Big Ben was able to look Antonio Brown's way 11 times. They complete each
Big
pass.
day for Brown.
So if they can't stop your main weapon, that doesn't necessarily put you in jeopardy. The problem is when he targeted everybody else, the percentages weren't as high.
Seemed like it.
Le'Veon Bell, who would probably go top 2 in anybody's fantasy draft, was underwhelming.
Didn't have a great game.
And so I think they'll find a way to get it together, but it's still an impressive win. And how about TJ Watt? 2 sacks.
I liked it.
An interception.
They're good-looking sacks, too.
So if you're a Steelers fan, you should be excited about your squad, though they struggled somewhat against the Browns, who were pretty game.
Did you expect Cam to play better than he did?
He played almost the way I anticipated.
He looked rusty. Even Ron Rivera said he was rusty. He didn't play great.
And Cam's at his best. He's one of those football players that probably yesterday didn't feel like himself until he got stuck one time. Until he got hit really hard. Like, yeah, now the season started.
That usually happens in the first possession.
No doubt about it. And so Cam Newton is in a unique spot. So earlier in his career, he's had so much success, been an MVP, led his team to the Super Bowl, has been hit and or sacked as many times as any quarterback in the game. I think it's going to take time for him to actually find himself. But who are they playing? 49ers.
But it's unclear because Chuck Pagano doesn't know where the 49ers were playing either. He's confused. It was confusing all over the place. And then we have this Falcons in the Super Bowl, collapsed, coming off a Super Bowl season. And then they go into Chicago and just kind of squeak by the Bears. See, Bears could have pulled that out.
Bears had their chances at the end. 2 drop passes didn't help their cause. Matt Ryan did a really good job of eluding tackles. Before you know it, he's throwing it to Hooper all the way down the field, who does a terrific stiff arm on the D-back to score. Julio Jones catches his 500th pass in 80 games. The only other guy to do that is Anquan Bolden. So without Kyle Shanahan, who was calling plays last year, now he's coaching on the other side. He's pretty familiar with what they like to do. So I'm not surprised that they were a lot of contested plays. But again, you got to give Atlanta credit. They started 1-0.
And I don't think that these are so much concerning wins by the Steelers and the Falcons, but there is something about an encouraging loss. You know what I mean? Like, I think both Browns fans and Bears fans were looking at their teams saying, who are we going to pick in the draft? You know, these games could have been wins.
And when the Falcons see the Bears, they feel like us. These guys stink. We're going to show up. We'll find a way to get it done. We got so many weapons.
Who
we'll
beat
these guys.
2. Yeah.
No doubt. So you got to give the Falcons credit. They started 1-0. They took care of their business on the road.
Is there a sound, just like an audible expression, that just sort of encapsulates the way you feel about the Lions' performance against the Cardinals?
So the first 3 quarters in the last 16 games is meow. And then in 9 of them that we've come back a league high to win, it's
I can't front. I'm rooting for the Lions just because we're friends. And they did look good.
Here's the thing that people don't pay attention to. Matt Stafford is not considered an elite quarterback, but he has an elite arm talent.
He's got elite salary, too.
And he finds ways to spray the football around and move us up and down the field. We have a really good kicker and Prater. We get points. Mm-hmm. And so when I said that we were going to win the division, I know you looked at me like I was crazy.
I still don't think you're going to win the division.
But look at Seattle yesterday and look at us. We not them.
No.
Okay.
You're feeling
and
much
we got to
better
worry
about
about
your team
Green
than
Bay.
that. Yes, you do have to worry about Green Bay.
Okay.
Are the Jags better than we expected, or are the Texans worse than we expected?
See, this is one of those things, and I love this about sports. It's such a microcosm of life and how we're so ready to create and run with the storyline, okay? Of course, everybody who has some sort of sympathy in their head or heart is going to be rooting for the region of Houston because of the devastation that they've endured.
Of course.
And so when J.J. Watt is introduced and he's waving the flag,
the Texas flag,
I already
screaming.
see what's about to happen. People ready to run with that storyline to why they played so well.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
We all know that. It's like they're playing for their city.
And what other people forget is there are professionals on the other side, like Calais Campbell, who got a big deal this offseason, who had 4 sacks. The team had 10. Leonard Fournette ran for 100 yards. Quarterback play was terrible, but they didn't need much out of that position. So unfortunately, they lost their wide receiver for the entire year. But you have to give the Jags credit for the way they performed. Bill O'Brien, when you substitute your quarterback at halftime in the first game, it really doesn't help the team or either quarterback, because you could have gave Deshaun Watson the first team snaps the entire offseason. You weren't doing it. Now you can't go back to Savage in game 2.
Just take your L. It's not like Deshaun Watson's going to turn around his first game out. It's not going to happen. The Raiders beat the Titans. Their offense looked great. Defense, do you think they're good enough to win the AFC? Go quick.
I'm happy with what I saw from Marshawn Lynch.
Is Jared Goff good?
Jared Goff is not considered good
He's
just
not
yet.
good. He's not good.
But they killed the Colts. Like, the Colts going to get somebody seriously hurt putting that squad out there.
Should Eagles fans be encouraged by their win over the Washington football team?
Absolutely. It's a divisional foe, and they have multiple weapons. You add Torrey Smith. You had Alshon Jeffries. Neither one didn't play particularly big. Ertz, their tight end, led them in receptions. They have multiple backs they use. Still can dump it to Sproles. Still can give it to Blount, who scored a touchdown. Trying to mix too much with Smallwood in so far early in the year. Wentz is elusive. You see that play? It almost was like McNabb to Freddie Mitchell.
I am so glad that you had a long answer for that game, because now we're out of time and we don't have to discuss the Jets and the Bills.
There's nothing to talk about.
I love Football Sunday so much, but I'm not going to let it overshadow a great week of college football. And, of course, the big game of the weekend.
Michigan handling their business?
No. Was Oklahoma going into Columbus, Ohio, and getting a big win over Ohio State, which I predicted, by the way. But everyone's talking about what happened after the game. After the big win, they were all fired up, Sooners, excited, and they had a little campfire circle, dance circle right in the center of the field. And then Baker Mayfield attempted to plant the flag. Here is what he had to say today when he kind of backed up.
It was an emotional game. I told you guys that last week that it was. I knew that it was going to have a lot of implications on the playoffs, and so that's the way we were prepared. And so it was an emotional game. And so after the game, it did not mean for it to be disrespectful towards any Ohio State people at all, especially not the team or the players, because they're a great team and a great program. So I didn't mean it to be disrespectful at all. I mean, we do the flag thing at OU Texas, and so that's just something that I got caught up in, an emotional win. And, it should have been something I did in the locker room, so I apologize for doing it in the middle of the field.
Didn't mean to be disrespectful at all. Didn't mean to be disrespectful at all. I think that's entirely what he meant. He meant nothing else but to be disrespectful towards the Ohio State fans and program. What do you think about Mr. Mayfield's apology?
For people that aren't athletes or don't compete in their personal lives a lot of times the life skills that come with the lessons of dealing with success and or dealing with failure are actually life skills that you should carry beyond the score of the game, which is why there's so many people who don't make it to the NFL or the NBA that still find success in other endeavors because of this very topic. Yes, he was meant to be disrespectful. Yes. And yes, it's okay.
That's what I'm saying.
I beat you. Take your medicine.
I won. That's what happened.
Let
if you
me
guys
shine.
If you want to put your flag in the middle of our field, go ahead. We won the game. Yes, I was fired up, but I also don't like the apology. I don't like it when I feel like someone's not being honest. Like, don't just be honest, Mr. Mayfield. They made you do that.
Well, the reason why I have to apologize, and I've been on the other side, so I'm gonna flip it on you. I'm not mad at the apology.
I'm mad at the apology.
I'm mad at the people whining about it.
About the apology?
I'm mad at people whining about him doing it.
It's inauthentic. It's inorganic. It's just like they trot him out there because the PR people and the head coach are like, okay, Baker, this is what you have to do because of the flag thing. And those same people, those same coaches and those same PR people were standing up and screaming and cheering the second he did it.
But I'm going to tell you what he really said without saying it. He said it was an emotional win. Mm-hmm. He said it's what we do, OU versus Texas.
In a completely different game, which
means
is
we
irrelevant.
stick it to our rival.
Yep.
Y'all beat us last year. If we got a chance to beat you guys, and what did he say? He got caught up.
Got caught up.
And lastly, he didn't say he wish he wouldn't have did it. He said he should have did it in the locker room.
Yeah, he said. He's like, I just wish you guys didn't see it, but I would have done it. Here's another thing is, come on, Baker. If you do have all this experience about putting the flag in the middle of the field, come on, Baker. There's turf there. It's not going to stick. You have to stick it and hold it there. That's the thing that was whack because everyone jumped and landed at the same time. It looked so cool. And next thing you know, flags on the ground.
And also, somebody could have got hurt. I mean, what if it had hit somebody, poked somebody, or anything crazy? But again, you're at a collegiate institution. You have to know underneath that turf there's something really hard. That you can't plant a flag there.
Come on now.
I did this at Michigan State one time. We beat them on the road. I put my backside in the middle of half court on the S and wiped it a little bit.
No, you did. With your shorts on?
Absolutely. Jamel Hill always thumped me upside my head every time she see me for doing that.
But you need a flag.
But here's the thing I forgot. I still got to walk to the locker room. And you know, on the way to the locker room, they threw stuff at me like pennies and
treat you like Andy Dalton.
No, they treat me like it was the end of the Malice of the Palace.
The Ravens shut out Andy Dalton and the Bengals.
Shut them down.
There is a tradition that safety Eric Weddle has. After big Ravens victories, he eats an entire gallon of ice cream. We've talked about this before, but yesterday's concoction, he posted on social media, and here's the caption. Cookies and cream ice cream, Oreo cookies, caramel, and Hershey white chocolate crunchers. So good. Ha, Jalen, is that too much or is that not enough?
That's perfect for him. And I'm glad that he owns it.
It's too much.
Here's the deal. Like, while we've become a health-conscious society, and rightfully so, you could walk into a fast food restaurant and count the calories like they're dollars before you buy something. That's fine. But there is a beauty in actually doing what makes you happy.
Indulge from time to time. Celebrate. You know, I say people don't celebrate enough.
Correct.
Celebrate.
No
you got a big
doubt about
win.
it.
But here's the thing. Pump the brakes on that for a second. You don't have to put cookies and caramel and white chocolate crunchers on top of a gallon of ice cream. It's already a gallon of ice cream. You're already there. You're already overdoing it. Don't overdo overdoing it.
I'm overdoing it, period, when I do the dairy. Get from around me. Beef as well.
Do you remember when Kevin Durant said that no one wants to wear Under Armours?
Iceberg Slim, shooting trays from the suburbs.
Well, he's got a teammate by the name of Wardell Stephen Curry, who is the face of Under Armour, and took a little exception of this and said that he took it to Kevin Durant. He brought the conversation to his teammate Kevin Durant and checked him. He said, quote, he's entitled to that opinion, obviously, but when it comes to what I'm trying to do with Under Armour and what the Curry brand means and what Under Armour basketball means, that statement does not ring true at all. How contentious do you think this conversation really was? Like, what really happened in this conversation?
Well, here's what happened. It took Steph a while to get back to him. He got like 15 other things he's sponsoring. He got clothes, he got cars.
Evian water or something.
Daughter got sponsors, wife got commercials.
Yeah, she got her own shows.
It took him like 50 emails to be like, oh yeah, by the way, they only paid me $200 million.
To do what? Well, but I love how he makes it seem like he confronted Kevin Durant. Like, what it really was is like, he's like, look, I know the shoes are trash, Kevin, but like they paid me a lot of money, so can we please?
One of my good friends, Stone, is a mover and shaker with Under Armour. I know that he has an intimate and respectful relationship with both as homies, Steph and Dirk and KD. So I know that their friendship transcends them being teammates, which is why they were allowed to actually join the same roster and win a championship in his first year of being on the squad.
Another thing I just want to put on wax is Steph Curry shoes are good to play in. I've got the high top ones. I've got the low top ones. They are good to play in.
And they're light.
Very light.
I got some slides, too.
Slides are pillowy. Pillowy. I don't wear
Make
slides,
me 6'10".
I don't wear slides anywhere. When is it appropriate? Like around the locker room, it's just I'm too lazy to put them in the bag. I don't wear them around the house because I just wear socks or bare feet. I don't really wear slides. They just sit in my closet. No one cares, though. Let's move on.
It's if you're trying not to get athletes' feet walking around barefoot at the health club or in the shower.
Dame Lillard.
Dame Dollar.
He's been talking about recruiting Carmelo Anthony to come to the Blazers, and we always kind of joke that maybe Carmelo Anthony's just paying him lip service and be like, yeah, no doubt, but would never waive the no-trade clause. He said, Dame says, quote, that Carmelo Anthony, quote, didn't seem opposed to joining the Blazers. How much do you think this is a real possibility, and how much is it just Carmelo just like not wanting to be mean?
When this conversation comes up about Dwayne Wade, I'm going to say, he's not on the Cavs yet?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. The Bulls ain't about to just write him a big blank check. And Carmelo Anthony, the only thing I'm going to say is the Knicks are not trading Melo. It's the other way around. So it doesn't matter what anybody says. If he wanted to leave and go join Portland, guess what would happen?
He would be on Portland. Yep. And here's another thing is he's like, I guess if the places I really want to go don't work out, I could play a couple months in Portland, but I really don't want to go to Portland. So I'll just put you guys you'll be stashed in the back, and we'll see if I have to break that glass and go there.
Who doesn't want to get recruited?
Yeah, I'm sure it sounds good. I'm sure he enjoys all of this recruiting. Mos Def officially announced his retirement.
I ain't no perfect man. I'm trying to do
the best that I can. Mos Def is retired.
What it is I have.
Do rappers ever actually retire, though?
Rappers' accounts can go on forever. Athletes, we retire.
You guys, but even you haven't filled out your paperwork.
This is why.
You still think someo's going to call, so you didn't say
I might
Jalen
be a
Rose
part of a three-player deal. They need to throw me in there and give me some cash.
Sure,
I saw this happen with a player before. I think it was
Jose
Keith Van
Calderon.
Horn.
Jose Calderon got paid to just go over to one day play for.
Hey, the Pistons might need to include me in the deal.
The only deal you'd be including the Pistons, they're like, we need you to come and talk to the team. Or like, can you please come and talk to the team, Jalen, and teach them about working in the community? Finally, in 2010, there were 27 million kangaroos in Australia. There are now double that many kangaroos in Australia. Are you starting to believe in the kangaroo apocalypse?
Fat Jalen lived the kangaroo apocalypse.
Explain why.
Because when I'm 30 pounds heavier, my butt and my stomach stick out like a kangaroo. These days, I don't believe as much.
Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. We will continue to always, every single day, give you a dope pod to step to. We'll be back tomorrow.